This is Tank's Vlog for March 24th, 2019, wrapping up today in sports. It's all over for Villanova. There will not be a repeat in the NCAA tournament as the Wildcats were slammed through a table by the Boilermakers, 87-61. You know, it's no surprise Villanova did lose a lot of players to the NBA. But boy, the absolute total beatdown they got from Purdue was a little surprising. Jay Wright's teams have always played well in the tournament and have always been competitive in the tournament. But boy, they had no answer for Carson Edwards, who had 42 points, 9 shots from beyond the arc, and it was just a total butt stomping. Now, we already lost Loyola, Illinois. They didn't even make the tournament this year. No Sister Jean this year. And one of the other Final Four teams, Kansas, they went down nearly as hard, perhaps a little even harder, than Villanova did. Where Villanova was actually an underdog, Kansas was a slight favorite playing Auburn. And then they were down at the half, 51-25. Now, Kansas made it a little closer in the second half, but just the same, an 89-75 loss. And so the Jayhawks do not get a chance to play regionals in Kansas City. Why can't the NCAA has always said we don't want to give them home games. Don't want to give them home games unless it's the Final Four. But yet Kansas always seems to have it set up where they go to Kansas City. Well, not this time. You're going home. Michigan, though, the one Final Four team that is still alive from last year, they're going to the Sweet 16, beating up Florida 64-49. The other team from the Sunshine State had a much better time as Florida State trampled Murray State 90-62. Big night for Ja Morant, 28 points was not enough. LSU, in probably the most exciting game of the day, scored in the final seconds to beat Maryland 69-67. And when I say that was the most exciting game of the day, I mean the only exciting game of the day. As Saturday was not March Madness, it was March Blandness. Wofford's game was a little close with Kentucky, but Fletcher McGee couldn't throw it in the ocean standing on a pier, as Kentucky won the game 62-56. Michigan State, they were never really pressed, beating up Minnesota 70-50. It was Gonzaga over Baylor 83-71. It was just a day of just utter ugh. Could have been better. I was actually at the Devil game during that one exciting game today. Always like going to see the hockey game. Always like going to Devil games. Even though this season's been a total just disappointment. Total letdown. So many injuries. Just ugh. But the Devils actually did get a win today. They beat the Coyotes in a shootout 2-1. Which is a nice change of pace considering how many games the Devils have lost recently. And that loss just is crippling to the Coyotes, who are trying to get into the playoffs. It was the Islanders with 2 goals from Josh Bailey beating the Flyers 4-2. The Avalanche buried the Blackhawks 4-2 as well. It was the Senators in overtime 4-3. On a goal by Brady Tkachuk. The Rangers shocked the Maple Leafs on a goal by Ryan Strome 2-1 in overtime. What has happened to the Toronto Maple Leafs? They have certainly not playing well as the end of the season comes calling. Le Canadiens keep their playoff hopes alive, beating up the just absolutely quit on the season Buffalo Sabres 7-1. Bruins, meanwhile, clinched the playoff spot, 101 points now, with a 7-3 win over the Florida Panthers. It was the Hurricanes blowing past the Wild 5-1. The Jets got a hat trick from Kyle Connor and a shutout from Connor Hellebuyck over the Predators 5-0. Big win in getting that first seed in the Central Division. Lightning suffered a rare loss, losing to the Blues 4-3. It was the Penguins over the Stars 3-2. The Flames over the Canucks 3-1. In a overtime, it was Anthony Mantha scoring the game winner as the Red Wings beat the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 in overtime. And the Kings beat the Ducks 4-3 in a shootout. Speaking of teams who have had a major letdown, another bad, ugly loss for the Boston Celtics. 5th seed. They have just not looked right all season. With the talent they had, they should be championship contenders, and all season they've been pretty much championship pretenders. If they turn on the playoffs, it might be a different story. But other than that, their season has been a massive disappointment, and today was no different, as they blew a big lead in the fourth quarter, losing to the Charlotte Hornets 124-117. And isn't it something? Every time the Celtics have a bad game, it's when Kyrie Irving has a good game. I keep saying the Celtics are a better team without Kyrie Irving. The pieces just don't fit right. You know, Kyrie Irving's a great player, but you know, sometimes it's like trying to get that square peg in the round hole. It just doesn't fit right. The chunks don't come together. They're trying to get that puzzle piece. You bang on the table, and it just doesn't look right. It's a tree, but you're trying to put it sideways. It was the Heat 113-108 winners over the Wizards. The Hawks stunned the 76ers 129-127. It was the Jazz beating the Chicago Terribles 114-83. Timberwolves, they got a rare win on Saturday, beating up the Grizzlies 112-99. It was the Mavericks upsetting the Warriors in Oakland 126-91. The Trailblazers edged the Pistons 117-112, and the Kings downed the Suns 112-103. Moving on to the 3 stars of the night, it was Carson Edwards with that 42-point performance in leading Purdue past Villanova. Kyle Connor with his hat trick and an assist, 4-point night for the Jets forward as they downed the Predators. And Karl-Anthony Towns, 33 points, 23 rebounds, and actually got a win. What do you know? Today's birthday shout-out goes to a man who might be on Monday Night Football. He seems like ESPN wants him, but does he want to do Monday Night Football? That's the big question. I'm talking about the guy who's undoubtedly going to be in the Hall of Fame in a few years, Peyton Manning, who turns 43. And we take a look back to a humorous moment. A moment that went viral in its day before social media. And I'm talking about when Randy Johnson threw a fastball and ball never got home. Instead, it hit a bird, and the bird, well, the bird's now an ex-bird. Look at check out the story, and look at that impressive puff of feathers. As we remember when Randy Johnson killed a bird with a pitch. And the mind-blowing thing about when Randy Johnson killed this bird, the bird wasn't stationary. The bird was flying. The bird was flying fast. So that bird and that pitch to be in the same spot at the same time, the odds of that happening are infinitesimal. If Randy Johnson wanted to do that, he couldn't do it in 1,000,000,000,000 years. So check it out. Barstool Sports, Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. Good day.